Today I'm going to be recreating 3 sonic recipes on the ENZO X using the MERIS prEDITOR, which is their desktop editor and librarian. Okay, here we go. So this is what the prEDITOR looks like. You got a bunch of different tabs up here, libraries, your favorites, categories, globals, and we start on a live device. Go to our blank mono, and here it is. This is a blank patch that sounds like this. Pretty boring, but we need to turn that into something really cool. So first we'll start on our oscillator tab. And let's see, I've got my secret cookbook that is no longer secret. I'm revealing this to the entire world here. And so we're gonna start with a square wave in oscillator 1 and a triangle in oscillator 2. We have something like this. Want to detune this thing an entire octave. We want our oscillator gain maxed. You want that dimed, the square, and then we'll bring the triangle down just a little bit. We're seasoning to taste here, people. For our mod speed, this comes down to like the 1.5 zone. We don't want this, even though that does kind of sound sort of wavy and swimmy. We just want a little taste of the depth. There you go. And we could ramp it up just a little bit. Glide, of course. Always glide a square wave. All right. So that takes care of our oscillator tab. Come to our filter. We're gonna leave it on state variable. Keep it at low pass. That's good. That's easy. Filter envelope. We're gonna envelope up, people. And we're gonna hit this at 78. We go to our amp envelope tab, and for here we have a little bit of a release right in the 0.3 zone, and then roll off the attack just a little bit. Yeah, right there. So now what do we have so far? Yeah, go over to drive. We're gonna pump this up with the tube drive. That sounds right to me. Ambience, this is where we're gonna get our delay from, our singular delay. So right now when you go into echo, you got all these different guys, prisms and echo. But we only want one, a singular feedback, which is 0. Even though 0 sounds like it would mean no feedback, but actually 0 means 1. There you go. Come over to the modulate tab. Chorus, always chorus, come on. That's how you start to get the sort of wide, spacey, airy feel to it. I would just set this and forget it. That all sounds good to me. We can come back to this at the end and kind of tweak around and see if we get somewhere else. And then we're coming over to the modifiers tab. And what I like to do is tweak on this button, this hold modifier button. We got momentary latching. We like it on latching. We're going to assign this button to the pitch. It's already there. Cool. And then we turn the minimum to 0, maximum 100. We can leave these guys where they're at. Now we're getting somewhere. I want this a little bit grindier, so I'm gonna come over to drive, gain it up just a little more. Crunchy, nice and crunchy. I need a little bit of crunch on my square wave. We need to use this little guy here, this LFRF favorites section, to where we can assign what we want these 2 knobs to be doing. And so because generally you would use the hold modifier as your tap tempo for the delay time, we're using that to do this octave sound, right? Controlling the pitch, so we don't have access really to the clock, the tempo, and so I'm going to assign that to this little left favorite here by coming over here, going into clock, tempo. Okay, so now actually let's rewind and go back to our modulate section. I kind of just blew through the chorus sound because I think when you just turn on the chorus, it's awesome sounding by default, but what if we drop this down and try some different modulation, like vibrato? It's a little intense for me. I want to go a little subtler, although this patch is called Swimmer, and this sounds like the waves are a little bit, maybe like a little less glassy and a little wobbly. Like it's a windy day, it's a lake that's maybe slightly less placid. So that's what vibrato is giving me. What about flanger? That sounds like you're swimming in a lake and it just started to rain hard. Phaser, that's sort of giving me really big, nasty, like ocean waves. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna keep this at chorus, placid, the placid lake. All right, so now we can save this. So we're gonna call this Swimmer, yay, bingo. This sound to me reminds me of a guy dipping in and out of the waves, just going on this nice afternoon, relaxing swim. So we're gonna start from a fresh slot and we're gonna go to dry poly for our oscillator mode. And then we're gonna tune this to -7, which equates to a fifth below, if that sort of thing matters to you. Bingo. So here's what that sounds like. So it sounds like a detuned guitar by 7. And then let's bring in the dry blend to about 50%. That's what we want. A little bit of mod, a very little bit, just for flavoring. Come over to our filter, state variable, I always like that. Filter envelope, ADSR, we'll set the attack to 0.94 because it just seems right. It just tastes right. Our decay at 83 and sustain to 19. We'll go 19.357 for this recipe. We're improvising here, folks. So then to our amp envelope, we're good with all this. We like that. Drive, no drive. We're headed to ambience. We're gonna go to echo, back down to our singular feedback, which is just one repeat. Modulate, chorus as always. Let's see, let's check in where we're at so far. Very warm, very smooth, nice and dry. And now let's go into our modifiers. I love this hold assign zone. So we're gonna go to latching, and then we're gonna assign the button, this guy, our hold modifier button, to half speed mode. And guess what? It's not gonna do anything yet because I need to go and turn it on right there. So now this should do something. Let's see if I got this right. Remember when I was talking about manually operated pitch shifting? Well, this is what I meant by it. Basically, when you engage the hold modifier, which is turning on and off the half speed, it's jumping up or down an octave and creating a pitch shifting effect. And that's what we like. And I want to actually go a little harder on the chorus, just for fun. Not that hard, that's a little too overcooked for me. We want this right in like the medium rare zone. That feels medium, I'll take medium. Drive. Do I want to stick this in the fryer for a second? No. This is like supposed to be more like a sushi dish, it's raw. Dry. That's feeling right to me. We should assign, because once again, our delay time, we're sort of like trapped now using the hold modifier button, which would be your tap tempo. So we don't really have access to that unless you're, kind of menu diving. So I'm gonna go to our favorites again, and I'm gonna assign this knob to our clock tempo. Once again, I'm obsessed with assigning this knob to clock tempo. Yes. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to save this as repeater. Bingo. Save. All right, let's see what this one tastes like. All right, our final recipe is a really unpleasant dish. It's just gross and it's a very acquired taste. Like, why would you want to make this? But I happen to love this sonic dish. It sounds something like this. It's just, bleh. But let's make it. All right, the shapeshifter, a very broken dish as I see it. And we're going to start with a polysynth oscillator, and we're gonna use a saw wave, and we're gonna use a triangle, something like that. They can remain in unison, and what does that give us just to start? Not ugly, not gross sounding, totally, totally nice. Tracks beautifully, but we need to ugly this thing up. So we'll come over to our filter and our state variable, maybe right around 20 as the recipe calls for. Bingo. Keep that at low pass. Filter amount. My recipe says 90, so that's what I'm going for. 90.6, sure. We'll go to our filter envelope. Nothing doing there. Amp envelope. Note persist. We have this at 1.87, which sort of acts as a little bit of a compressor type situation. Attack, keep that at 0. Decay, 0.44. I know that seems really specific, but that's how I designed this recipe, okay? Sustain, going 5.05, sure, good enough for me. Release, about 19.357. Sure, I'll take it. Drive, back to our tube. If you're not noticing a theme here, I love the tube section on the ENZO X, right at the 25%. Just gives it some of that warmth. Ambience, we'll talk about that later. We're gonna keep this off for the moment. We're gonna come over to modulate, and for the first time in all of our recipes, we're gonna go to the ring mod. This whole frequency stuff, this is gonna be fully seasoning to taste. This is where the dish is getting really ugly. Right? It's gonna be in that zone, and once again, I'm gonna go to my favorites here, and I'm going to assign the left favorite to the modulation frequency. Bingo. Quick access to tweaking frequencies, so I like that. Let's go to our modifiers. Are we at modifying yet? We are. Okay, back to our hold latching, keep it at latching. And by the way, folks, there's lots of different modifier options in here. There's sequencing, there's all types of crazy LFO things, but I just happen to gravitate towards this little hold section here. And then for our hold assign, we're going to assign this to the modulation mix. Essentially, we're going to be fading in and out of the ring mod. We'll scroll down to modulation mix, there it is. And then we're going to reverse these. We're going to have the hold minimum 0, hold max at 100. And then this is really cool for our hold, attack, and decay. That's essentially fading in and out of turning on and off the hold modifier. So it's almost as if you're, twisting the knob in real time. So I'm just gonna kind of set this, kind of guess. Again, season to taste. And so where are we at? Yes. And I think I want these to be a little more rolled off. And I want to hit the drive now because I feel like it needs to be a little hotter. We need to heat this thing up. And I would like to tune the frequency to be a little grosser and yuckier. Burnt. That's highly burnt. So before you engage the ring mod, it's like before you drop it in the oven, you like have this beautiful dish ready to go. And then you put it in the oven for too long. You overcook it. Okay, now last thing, I wanted to come back to the ambient section. I like this dish dry, super dry, but if you want to give it a little something something, we can come into the prisms and maybe sort of like zhuzh it up a little bit. It's like smothering it in sauce. This is like if you were like a really saucy, nasty dish, that's what the prism would be. So engaging this ring mod, it's almost as if you can overcook it, you could fry the heck out of it, but then when you turn off the ring mod, you can almost undo that and return it to its nice, pleasant state. So I think this thing is ready to be saved. I'm happy with this dish. So we'll come over here, shape, shifter, save. Bingo. All right, let's check it out, a little more. All right, now we can unwind after that just very heavy sonic meal with some dessert. And we're gonna have a dessert cocktail that is a spicy vanilla cherry Coke, my creation. And this involves Jaeger Spice, a very rare Jaeger, by the way. This is hard to get, it's discontinued, so special. Start with some ice. Crack open this fresh Jaeger Spice, cinnamon and vanilla blend. You can't just get this in any liquor store, folks. You gotta find this. We'll go here. 2 fingers, well, maybe 1 finger, maybe 1.5 fingers for our Jaeger Spice. Mexican Coke, of course. Cane sugar. One for good luck. Top off. About there. Our maraschino cherries, not the good ones, the classic ones we had in our Shirley Temples when we were little dorks. I'm gonna grab one of these guys, drop that in, but then you need a lot of that good stuff. Chemical liquid. Okay, get rid of those. Give this a little stir. Oh yeah. And this is the spicy vanilla cherry Coke.